Heidi ho, everybody. Good afternoon, good evening, good morning, wherever you happen to be in the world today. Welcome to another live stream from San Antonio, Texas. And my other device is playing, so let me turn it down. Make sure my audio is working first. Yep, I hear myself. That's good enough. One of these days I'll have a setup where I can just not use my phone to double check everything. All right. Who we have here today? I saw a hello, but it disappeared. Where is that at? It was on the YouTube chat, but didn't come across. Let me just test that there. Yep. All right. So it's working. As always, if you have questions and you're on my Discord server, do the exclamation point ask, and that'll send it to the live stream questions channel, and then I can see those from all the other stuff that's going on. So we've got Ma, good afternoon. A regular, someone named Christy is here. I haven't seen a Christy before, unless it's a different name. And what else we got going on here? Just waiting for a couple more folks to pop in before we get started. I'm going to do something today that I haven't done other than reading about it. So this will be a fun live stream, either success or failure. We'll see how it turns out to be. We're going to play with the, sliding the grid, sliding cards around. I forgot the name of it already. Why did I forget? Drag and drop. Yep, we're going to do drag and drop here in just a few minutes. Burrow. Hello, Burrow. I always am curious where everyone is at or coming from. Dallas, Texas. Hello, Brian from Dallas. Brian's got reverse cap locks on. Today we're having some coffee, afternoon coffee. I know I vary my live stream times, and for those that are super schedule based, apologies for that, but I fit these in when I can. So I just watch my subscription or hit the bell icon so you know when I schedule these up, and at least try to give you all a little bit of notice before I get online and do these. Italy, Netherlands again. Arjan, I have I saw your comments earlier on your video, or on the video, and I haven't got to those yet. Had some family stuff to do this morning. School starts again tomorrow. The holiday is over, and I have to go back to work too. So typically in my career, in my past careers, I haven't taken any time off, appreciable time off, but this year I did, and so it's been kind of nice. And I actually am going to have to get back into the mindset of, the paying job here tomorrow. Hello from Denmark. Hey, Rasby, how you doing? Lucky J's on. Tempting the demo gods. Yep, I am definitely tempting the demo gods today. We'll see. Because this is not just a simple integration. I'm going to have to, and I'll show you here in a minute. I'm going to have to actually go in here and do some work. So we'll go through this. A person by the name of Zach, who is a front-end developer, Zach Barnett? Zach, maybe I'm saying the name wrong. He says Sarn. Yeah, Zach Barrett. His handle's funny, but Zach Barrett wrote this. He's a front-end developer for Home Assistant. And so he does a lot of this. He did the grid cards that I did a video on. And so he talks about, or he built the drag and drop, and it's not necessarily the way he wants it to be. And he talks a little bit about that, but we'll go through and we'll go the steps that he has outlined, and we'll see how that goes. Zippy the Zap. Oh, got a lot of regulars on today. Really appreciate y'all jumping in. And for those that are paying attention, the living room Roku switched from YouTube to Netflix. Somebody's watching Netflix downstairs. I have decent bandwidth here, so I should be all right with people streaming. Or me streaming while people are watching stuff in the house. All right, so I'm going to make this about probably an hour and a half-ish today, maybe we'll see how it goes. So I'm gonna jump into it. Why this is funny. Every time I live stream, there seems to be an HACS update. It wasn't this morning. Vertical stacking cards. Interesting. I'm not using those in this dashboard because I'm using the grid cards, but I do have it in one of my other dashboards, so I probably should update that. All right, so let me jump into this because I don't know how it's going to go. And if it fails miserably, we'll just chalk it up to a learning experience. If it works, then it works. But what I'm going to talk about here are basically drag and drop. This was talked about or has been talked about for a while. And in GitHub here is a repository with all the code for the drag and drop. Now, if you're running HACS, you're gonna end up adding the repository. If not, you have to do a lot of manual stuff. I highly recommend running HACS for none other than being able to quickly add stuff without having to go in and manually do a lot of file work. So I do run HACS. In addition, you can search HACS and see a bunch of stuff in there that people have added without going out on the internet trying to find it. So Twitch integration. Oh, sweet. You know, I've never tried that. The Twitch integration. I don't even know what it does. I probably should do that. My phone tells me, because I have the Twitch app when certain people are streaming, configuration integrations. So this is our first squirrel sidetrack of the day. Twitch. Is it HACS, Lucky J? It's probably not. It doesn't look like it's one of these. Let me just come over here to HACS, integrations. Let me see if I can find it. No. Yeah, Lucky Jay, you're gonna have to tell me how you're doing that. I've heard other people talk about the Twitch integration, but I don't seem to see it on here anywhere. Under front ends. Nope. Nope. So where is that, Brian or Jay? Where's the Twitch integration? Why do I not get to see it? Unless it's a front end deal. Nope. I suppose you have to explore and add repositories. It's probably something like that, right? Oh. So, yeah. So I'm not going to go. I'll look at that later on, but I'm assuming you'll just have to add the repository like shown here for Twitch integrations. All right, so let's get into the topic of the day, which is going to be this drag and drop stuff. And I'm just going to follow along with this custom grid card GitHub installation instructions. This is something anybody can do. Oh, there it is right there. Home Assistant integrations. So it's an actual integration. Why do I not see it in my integrations? All right, so yeah, here it is. You can set up this. I'll leave it open for later. That'll be fun to play with. All right, so back to this. Squirrel. We're going to install this through HACS. And the way we do this is we add this, this repository to HACS. And go to integrations. Up here, add repository. Oh, they've changed this too. Interesting. So add a custom integration. I can't even see this. Oh, I'm missing something up here that I can't see. This is our first fail of the deal here. So it used to be you would just click on custom repositories over here and add it. I'm missing, I guess the URL goes here. Oh, here it is. Duh. All right, so there's a URL. It's kind of cut off a little bit, and it's going to be an integration. Is not compliant. So are we just going to fail right out of the box here? Greetings from New York City. Hello, Richard. Oh, Oh, add a sensor twitch. Okay, I'll play with that later on. Okay, so maybe I didn't copy this correctly. I'm going to copy just the text here. We're going to try it again because it's telling me it's not compliant. Okay, custom repository. Add the URL. Let me just make sure it's spelled. All right. Add all this junk. I know you can't really see this under here. Let me turn my mouse thing on. It's overwritten because of the size of this thing. And I'm going to, oh, you know what? I bet it's leveless, not integration. All right, there it is. So I'm assuming it's added now. So following along the directions, we also need to do this. Now we talked about this in my last live stream. I don't have, since I'm using YAML mode, I don't have the ability to add the resources via the resources tab. I have to go and add that manually to the configuration.yaml file. So yeah, Milabi, it's because it was I chose integration instead of front end, and so I had to change it to integration, and then it worked after I did that, or front end as the type of custom repository. Actually, I want to go down here to this guy here. All right, so if we go to add this now, and somebody, we don't need to put that, I already have resources. My understanding is I have to restart Home Assistant once I do this. So I'm going to save that. And I'm going to go back over here to Home Assistant server controls. If I can do the shortcut. Nope, can't do the shortcut. Go to configuration, server controls, check my configuration. It's valid. I'm going to restart. And when I restart, it should pick up that code I just put in my configuration, so it will see that particular type of card or that repository. Live stream questions. We got one. Yay. In TTS Alexia and Google, how do you set volume for announcement and return it? Why did my device respond to that? While that's restarting. So how do you set, so does anybody know, is there a way to set the volume for the announcement? It's probably part of the TTS call. I'm going to use this one and see what options are available. So really it's TTS, and do we have a volume option? So I get the service, the entity, the data, which is the message, and the language. I don't actually see a way to set volume, and I don't know that there is. So if anybody knows if there's a way to set volume on the TTS stuff, just let us know in chat, because I think that's just dependent on the device itself. There's no volume setting in the main TTS configuration, and no options for that in the data section that I'm aware of. Could be wrong, but I don't see it in the actual settings there. Unless it's something else here. Let me just look at this. This looks like a forum post, which means that I'll be on rabbit trail all day long. All right, so default TTS player language. Nope. No, I don't see anything. I wonder who asked that, because I don't see it actually. Oh, let me go over here. Oh, Bevo. Yeah, so Bevo, I don't know how that actually works specifically, if it does. So if anybody knows, jump in there, chat, and let us know if we can set volume on that. Okay, so we restarted. Looks like we're restarted now. So if we go over to notifications first, yeah, that's that automation thing I have an issue with. And we go back and we start following along again. So I've added this to configuration to my loveless.yaml. And you can also do that. If you are not in YAML mode, you can go into resources and add it directly in resources. Yeah, I'm not going to do it that way. Under, where is that? Helpers? Integrations. Watch, I'm going to be all kind of, today I'm feeling less smart than I usually, well, I'm just feeling less smart today. I don't see resources, and usually you can get to it by using the shortcut resources. Nope. Navigate to blah, blah, blah. Well, anyway, there's a UI ability to set the resource. Here we are, under dashboards and resources. You can actually add a resource here if you're not in YAML mode. What I just did to add that, that URL, this stuff right here, you can add this directly in resources if you're not in YAML mode, which I am. So I had to go to the Visual Studio Code and put it in directly. Okay. Oh, thanks, Bout It Inc. Oh, look, somebody did post that. All right, let's scroll off on this real quick. See if we can find what we're talking about. So setting the volume level in an automation announcement. So your volume level. Okay, so it's actually a call, a service call. So if I go to services, can I get right here? Let's do developer tools. I know I can get there. We go to services and we do media set volume. So we'll look for media player. What is it called? Media player volume. Volume. I don't have that. All right, so let me look here. So the part of an automation, oh, this is how they are setting it. Volume level 0.5 under data, which is under entity ID. And then the suggested or the solved answer is this one, post number 2. Oh, and so use data template. So it looks like here you can, under data, under the service media player, I don't have volume set as a service, so I'm not sure where that's coming from. Media player, I don't have anything related to under call services, media player, but maybe it does. Maybe it just is part of it and I can't call it that direction, that way. But you can play around with this. The link is in the chat, Bevo, and you can just see if you can do volume setting that way. And thanks BC Crusher for finding that. All right, let's go back over. We've added this to the UI Loveless YAML. We restarted / refreshed Home Assistant. If you don't have HACS, you can do the manual installation, but you've got to download all of this, put it in your config folder, add a resource, etc., etc. I would highly recommend HACS, but you can do it manually if you're not running HACS. With Node-RED, are you talking about, oh, Node-RED? Yeah, because media player under Node-RED, and we're back on the volume thing. That's right. That's what we're here for. Answer questions, right? So I have a couple of TTS calls in here. Let it load. Let it load. So many links. Oh, there's a cast node. Interesting. I'm doing this, but not with the cast node. I'm actually talking to it directly. If I can find out where that here, I think it's down here. So I'm doing a TTS using the TTS Cloud Say, but it looks like there's a cast directly for using the G1 TTS stuff. So maybe that's a requirement for volume. Where am I going here? So under the message payload, it's possible potentially to do that. I guess BC Crusher, you would have to use the cast node to maybe do that. I don't know. But I'm using the Google Cloud TTS stuff here, or the Cloud Say service. in the TTS domain to speak to my one device here. Under my Alexa stuff here, this is Alexa, and I do the same thing. Now this has a data component as well. I wonder if you could stick it here for your volume. So that'd be something you can experiment with that. That's the beauty of doing this kind of stuff. If you play around with it, you get to learn and you get to see what it does. So you'll have to play around with figuring out whether or not, or how the volume works in Node-RED, but you can certainly do it. It's definitely available, it looks like. Okay, so we installed HACS thingy, the repository, and added it to the resources file. And now we're going to go into drag and drop, and we're going to try to make it work. By the way, installing it with HACS and what I just did is all you have to do. You don't have to do anything else with getting it installed or anything else. So let's go over to a dashboard. And Zach highly recommends making a copy of your current stuff before you mess with it. And I'm going to do the same thing. Now, I tried to make a copy of all of this earlier, just with a copy in the UI kind of copy button. I was not able to figure that out. Again, me not spending much time researching this one. But what I am going to do is I'm going to edit this dashboard. And I'm going to, where's it at? Once you go into edit mode, you can go into raw configuration editor. And it's going to put your entire dashboard with all your panels and everything in this raw editor for you. The easiest way for me, I found, to duplicate it is Control A, which copies everything, Control C. Now I have in my clipboard all of my dashboard. And with that, I'm going to go back over to the configuration, leveless dashboards, which is right here. I'm going to add a new dashboard. I'm going to call it drag and drop demo. And the icon, I don't know, MDI, I don't care what it's called. MDI, sun, I don't know. I had one earlier I was playing around with, thought it was funny, but I don't remember what it was. Ball. Wow, that's taking too much time. MDI, we'll just do castle. Show in sidebar, and then we'll create it. And I'm going to open it now. And when I open it, it's going to be all this jumble of mess that when you watch my grid card video, or creating that dashboard with grid cards, this is what it looks like. So you have to come up here still. Remember, you have that whole other dashboard in your clipboard. So don't try to copy anything else right now until you do this. You're going to edit the dashboard. I want to start with an empty dashboard. Take control. And now I will go into the raw code editor or configuration editor, and I will get rid of this thing. Control V to paste that whole thing in here. Save it. And now I should have an exact copy of my dashboard. So I have my main dashboard, which I call new dash, and then I have my drag and drop demo dashboard, which looks exactly the same. And the reason I'm doing that is I want to see if we can make this work with my current dashboard. So one of the things that I want to accomplish potentially is, let's say I don't like where this weather card is. Maybe I want it over here somewhere. If this works like I think it's going to work, we should be able to drag this over to this area and make it bigger or smaller, or whatever we want to do. We're not there yet because we have a few more steps to accomplish. So I've made a copy of my dashboard so I can play around with this one without messing up my production stuff. All right, so how do we use this? Well, according to the directions, media extractor integration. I wanted to add a live stream to one of my HA dashboards. I have not. What is the media extractor integration? We'll come to that here in just a second because I want to see what that is. All right, so we have, and that would be kind of cool to have a live stream directly on an HA dashboard. That's kind of fun. People, I'm always amazed, or I shouldn't be amazed by now, having done this for a while. the amount of creativity that we have in taking these things and doing stuff with them. You know, I have this dashboard that has a bunch of stuff on it, but this is something I built over time. And in my mind, this is kind of cool looking, but people have done some really much cooler looking stuff, much more advanced things. So the creativity out there is amazing. Uh-oh, I've lost my playroom again. I have that Raspberry Pi 4 Back to the Basics series that I have started. I installed Raspberry Pi, or I installed HA on a Raspberry Pi 4, and I was messing with MQTT to try to get my Z-Wave stuff over to the development. Well, I call it my development device now. And every time I mess with that thing, it messes up my Z-Wave for my Playroom switch. Squirrel. Okay, what are we doing? We are doing this. All right, so we're gonna use this, and I'm I'm gonna go in here to the code editor for this dashboard, and again, because you have to do it this way, I'm gonna call this one kind of like an intermediate kind of thing. It's not someone who's just starting with Home Assistant necessarily, and I'll come back to some caveats, some known issues and things like that were discussed, because this is not prime time right now. This is kind of playing around with it. If it works for you, it's fantastic, but you should expect some problems here potentially, depending on what you have set up. All right, so I've gone into the editor mode now, which you can see based on this up here. I need to go to the raw configuration editor again, and again, this is on my demo dashboard. Don't mess with your regular one. And you can see up here, you have views, title, path, icon, all this stuff. You're going to take this type as custom grid-dnd, and that's the card or the thing that's going to do all the work for us, or tell it that it's a drag and drop capable dashboard. So the example here is I'm going to put it right under path. I don't have default view on mine. I'm not going to mess with that. I'm assuming if I made that default view that this demo would be the default dashboard. So I'm just going to take that bit of code, and y'all probably can't see that. Can I make it bigger? Sure can. All right, so this is type. I'm just going to copy it. Let's just copy it. Control C and paste. All right, so let's save it. I don't know. Let's see what happens. Dun, dun, dun. All right, I've saved it. I'm going to exit the raw code editor. I'm going to exit the editor. Uh-oh. See, yeah. Custom element doesn't exist, grid-dnd. Oh, you know what? You know what I think I didn't do? Watch this. I think in HACS, I didn't finish doing the HACS stuff. I added the repository, but I didn't install the card. So if I go to front end now, I need to find that card. What is it called? Custom drag and drop view, maybe? Let me go see if I can find that easily. Custom? Everything's custom in here. Let's try drag. Custom drag and drop grid for Home Assistant. Grid view. All right, so I need... Oops. So I forgot to install it. So you add the repository like we did up here, you know, custom repository and all that. But you actually have to install a card. So now I'm going to do that. And then it says here, you know, when installed, this will be located in this directory. That's for us, if we're using HACS, that's just nice to know. We don't have to do anything with that. And then of course, this has to be added to either your resources under the UI, or like I did, you have to add it to your configuration.yaml. So let me install it. And I don't think I have to restart since I already added the module. But we'll see. Maybe I have to reload the cache or whatever. Okay, so now if I go back over to drag and drop demo, it doesn't know what that is. So typically when you install something in HACS, you have to restart things. At least I have. Yeah, Razvi, thanks for the heads up there. It doesn't work if it's not installed. Live TV. All right, so I'm going to reload resources just to see that maybe that's why it doesn't show up. And I'm going to do like a shift refresh on my browser just to load the cache and all that jazz. Okay, so now if I go to New Dash, this is what New Dash looks like, and it's really blown up here. If I go to drag and drop Dash or demo, okay, so it's not giving me the error, I don't think, anymore. So now I need to go back to edit dashboard. And I'm already seeing what I think might be an issue. Oh yeah, okay. So this is a good example of this. This is I built this dashboard using using the grid cards. And so each one of these is actually a card. And because each one of these is its own card, the controls for dragging and dropping them are going to act on the entire single grid card. Now inside the grid card are all these other ones. So you would almost have to build a dashboard without the grid card settings or the grid cards to be able to use or move these individual cards. We'll play around with that in a minute. First, sip of coffee. Yeah, Richard, I think it's because I didn't install it, and then of course I didn't refresh my browser and all that jazz. So let's recap. Install the custom repository, and then install the card, and then go put it into your resources so that it can find it. Do those three things before you do what I try to do, and it doesn't work. You'll notice you get a save layout button. So if you do move something around, you have to click save layout. You also notice that you don't have any of the up and down arrows like you normally would when you're editing a card. All you have is this one edit button, which you can click on and do your editing. Oops. And then you get the delete button. All right, so you could, I mean, if you don't like these columns, the way they're lined up, you could move this over. So I could take the weather column, and you'll see that it moves to that moving arrow looking thing. I could slide this over here. And what it's doing is now moving this down here. Let's see if we can put this up here. Yep. So you can move things around here. And if I save this layout, I now have, let me get out of the editor mode. I now have this column in the middle and this column on the right. And we can look at the difference, right? Here's the original dashboard. It looks like this. And the weather and the home feed card are in the middle. And if we look at the demo, we see now that the home feed card is on the right with the weather, and this is in the middle. So it works on the outermost card, it looks like. So let's play around a little bit now. Let's add a few cards that are by themselves and play around with this. And before we do that, let me talk about a couple things. Let me go back over here and let me scroll off on the media extractor because I think that sounds interesting. And then we'll go build another dashboard to play with this. So media extractor. Integration. Those songs that I'm singing are made up in my head, so no royalty, no copyright problems with those. The three notes. D&D doesn't work with an animated background. Possible. There are a number of things. Zach says to consider the drag and drop to be alpha, not even beta, alpha at this point. From listening to what he talks about, it sounds to me like, and I thought basically that the developers that worked on Home Assistant were full-time developers. It sounds like maybe Zach has another job and he does front-end developer for Home Assistant as well. And so he's talking about his work getting busy and he's having to do some other stuff. So I get that, definitely get that. But he's been working on it. He's been wanting to work on it. He thought it would be an integration ready for, or a feature ready for the conference, but it wasn't. And then on top of that, he was talking about the fact that it's not even a a built-in core thing. It has to be you know, an HACS type of custom thing. So anyway, I assume these things will continue to build out and mature, and they'll get better. I mean, being able to go in here and just drag something around just as a whole chunk of stuff, even by this. Let's say I didn't like those columns the way I had them, and I wanted to move the whole thing over. Well, that makes it nice and easy to do it that way. I do also notice that for whatever reason, everything is kind of scrunched up here. I don't know if it's ignoring some CSS or whatever, but looking at the original dashboard, it's spaced out. Oh, and you know what? Also, it doesn't work on mobile. So I'm thinking maybe that's what the problem is here. If I were to look at this on my mobile device, it probably would not look the way it does here. I think it's not doing the responsive resizing and whatnot. Media extractor gets a stream URL and sends it to a media player entity. This integration can extract any. It doesn't transcode. It just tries to find a stream. So it says stream. Does it mean a file? Oh no, look, you can do. So if you get the share link, I wonder, the share link from YouTube or whatever. Yeah, I don't. So the media content, the ID of the content, music, video, episode, channel, playlist, music. I don't know. Hey, who asked me that? Sorry, let me go find out who asked me that. Oh, B Crusher. I would be curious if that works. Name of entity to seek media on. Oh, it's looking for some player. So if you have a Sonos or something like that. Yeah, I don't understand what that is. If you have, it says name of entity to seek the media on, defaults to all. Media content, the ID of the content to play, platform dependent. So what does that say? Media content ID. Yeah, I don't know. It wouldn't seem like it would be hard to play around with if you just want to click on, if you want to just put this in somewhere. Like if I put it in a video here, would it work? I don't know. Default query worst, customize media player, myself, video, music. It sounds like it's almost local. More info about queries can be found here. Oh wow. Yeah, this takes processing. Oh look. Okay, so you have to, I think you have to download the videos and play them, it looks like. So it doesn't look like a live stream. It looks like it's playing something that comes in from, I'm probably lying. I'm probably completely wrong. It looks like it's almost something local. Like these download all playlists, download YouTube playlist, Udemy series. I don't know where it's getting this stuff. Like maybe a play, like you could, this almost looks like a downloader. Wow, there's a lot of options here. Oh, this is actually a downloader for YouTube, as a matter of fact. So you can't, the live stream, I don't think live stream is going to work because from what I know about live stream, it processes the video for X number of, for me, hours sometimes after it's done. And so the video wouldn't be something you could download and play. It looks like those are downloaded videos you could play within this integration, but not necessarily something that you can watch live. But Zach said it may look different on the browser due to some different CSS settings. Yeah. All right. So let me just talk about for a second a couple of the issues here. Some of the notes. So number one, yeah, he says recommend copying your view and modifying the copy, which we did. Users using YAML mode only will not have a good time. I'm having a great time. Y'all having a great time? I think what he means there is if you're trying to do this directly in YAML, it's not going to work. You have to have some sort of UI stuff. Like if I tried to add this to my, if I go back here, you can look and see I have a YAML only dashboard. So this dashboard here is strictly YAML. I think if it was YAML only, which is what this means, that I would not have a good time. So the UI controlled configurations allow you to use drag and drop. The other stuff does not. So if you're just doing YAML dashboards, you will not have a good time. I love the way he puts that. Not a good time. Not going to have a good time. So don't try it if you're just YAML. If you're doing UI controlled dashboards, yeah, have a good time with that. Or you can have a good time. Have fun. Enjoy yourself. Whatever. All right. So other notes. This is not the finished version. It's not the best version. It's bound to change. Things are going to break. And this brings up a point. If I'm just going to get on my soapbox here for a minute. When I'm building this series, or I'm doing this series right now called Back to Basics, I'm just trying to get some super simple stuff in for people who've never used this or are brand new to Home Assistant. And that one of the things I talk about in the next video coming up is the breaking changes and doing updates. So if you install this thing and you're doing something with it, and I think, yeah, see, this is what I was going to say. This adds a large amount of YAML to your view. So there's a layout section. If we go in to look at this now, where'd it go? Let's go back over to drag and drop demo. And I'm going to make a point. I know it sounds like I'm all over the place here, but I'm going to make a point here in a second if I remember how to do it. Edit dashboard, and I'm going to look at the YAML. I'm curious what it looks like now. So raw configuration editor. And is there something in here called layout? Not if it's spelled wrong, there's not. Not if it's spelled wrong. Yeah, look, so all of this stuff now has been added, it looks like, added to this dashboard. And I don't know what parts are what here. And this would be something I would be afraid to edit at this point because I don't know what this means. There's probably more than one layout now that I think about it, because I moved those two columns, and I think each one of these layout sections maybe for each column. Yeah, see as I go through here. And then there's all this layout. So here's the key. Here are the things. Well, it makes sense to me, actually. So here's the key. So it looks like just UUID, some sort of random key made up for each change. And the column or the key is going to specify the position and the width and the height of that card. So position 6, it's going to be position X 0 and 0, and then 6 and 0, and then 3 and 0. So these are my three different, those stacked grid cards. Those are the three things. Now, if you moved 5 or 6 or 7 cards around, you'd probably have 5 or 6 or 7 different layout sections, and each layout would be referenced by this key. So when he talks about, and I'm totally going on assumption now, if this changes and you don't pay attention to breaking changes, then it's possible that if you do an update, you're going to break your whole layout. So if you do this stuff here and you do these, especially this alpha kind of thing, you're opening yourself up to stuff just breaking randomly or whatever. So keep in mind when you're doing this, these points, right? Not finished, not the best version. It's going to change among breaking changes. Lots of extra YAML is going to be added to your code. Adds a key to every card, which I guess I just figured out. Zach does his best to do things. He did the grid card, and the grid card is evidence of his work, and it's pretty awesome, right? So I'm really enjoying using the grid cards. So I have no doubt that Zach's going to continue when he has time to build this out, make it even more useful, more better, make it more better. So he said he built everything using this lit grid layout. So he has complete control over the changes. It may not be the best yet. So he's learning after 2 years of working with Home Assistant. So be patient. He talks about bugs, on here. I forgot what he said about features and stuff, but if you have issues, reach out to Zach about that. So Razvi says, he said not to mess with those values at all. Those values are set by grid coordinates. If one of those is just off, it will mess everything up. Yeah, once you make a change, once you do this, let me get out of this before I really mess it up. Once you have changed this board and done something with it, or where you've moved a card around or whatever, don't mess with the YAML in terms of the key values and positions or anything anymore. I think once you change it, you're stuck doing UI only changes and moving stuff around. That's all you're going to get from this point forward. So make sure that you are ready to commit when you're doing something like this. I'm demonstrating it today as something that's coming, that will mature over time. I don't know that I'm going to keep it myself. It is a demo to play with. So again, I talk in my videos, I talk about your level of risk and acceptance and that stuff like that. So whatever you're comfortable with, I think it's cool. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I think as it matures and gets better, it's going to be a whole lot more useful. I mean, we're used to drag and drop everything in today's world anyway. So it's just an extension of what we already do. So as I'm talking here, make sure you're asking me questions. We don't have to just stick with this this drag and drop stuff. Anything else that you want to chat about, make sure you bring that up in the chat as well. I have this thing on here now called Super Chat. Those that have played with YouTube in any length of time know what that is. What I don't know, though, is how I can see it. So if anyone has done any Super Chat on this live stream, I apologize. I haven't seen it pop up. So let me just give me a second here. Make sure I'm not missing anything there. Wait for it. I'm probably taxing my computer now at this point. My head will start chopping around and I'll get all crazy. I'm pulling up the live stream on the channel just to make sure that I'm not missing anything there. Give me just a moment. While I'm doing that, ask me questions. Make sure you're asking me questions in the chat so I can answer those. Or I'll try to. So far, I've had not good luck with the media extractor, but we did get a question answered about the other item that we talked about. Chat, please. Chat, please. Pop out chat. So I use this Restream service called Restream, and it doesn't have all the icons for everybody on it. But when I come over to YouTube, I get to actually see the icons, which is cool. All right, so that is done. Let me bring it over here out of my way. Cool. All right. Excellent. Excellent. Does it even, I don't even see that it's working. Do y'all see like the little super chat thing on the bottom of this, on the bottom of the YouTube deal? Because I don't see that it's even working. Or I don't see if it's even an option on there. All right. Let's build a quick little dashboard. I'm just going to build another demo dashboard. So configuration, integrations, no, dashboards, Loveless dashboards. And I'm going to add a new dashboard, just random. I'll call it random. I'll call it random. Nope. Is there a faucet? Really? Bulb? Light? Light? How much time am I going to waste finding a valid icon or whatever? No icon. Not today. This one is random. All right, so I'm going to open this one up. We're going to edit this one. Make it blank to start with. Now, once you have that card installed, you don't have to do anything with HACS on the additional dashboards if you want to enable that feature. Start with blank, enable take control. And I'm going to just add a couple things here, just regular cards that are not part of a grid card. And first I have to add an actual thing. So let's call this first page. Icons, everything's optional. Save it. Now I'm going to add a card. I'm just going to put my weather card on here because that one's a popular one. Entity name, weather. Weather sounds good to me. This is the weather. All right, there's one card. So let me add a second card. What would be another card? Let's put a couple of buttons on here. Oh, I don't want another one of those. I want a card. Button card. Custom, there's a button. It's going to pick an entity for me. I don't want that entity. Let's do kitchen light or something. Let's do switch. because otherwise there's too many. Oh, there's still too many. Kitchen counter, that works for me. Kitchen counter. And this is, I'm going to call this MDI light bulb. Okay. And I'll leave the rest of that. And I'll do one more just for the fun of it. Add one more card. We'll do another button card. Button card. Button. And I'm going to do switch again, front hall light. And again, another icon, or front hall, we'll call it front hall. Front hall, MDI light bulb. Perfect, save it. Now I'm gonna save this dashboard just for the fun of it. All right, so now I have 3 cards and I don't like the layout. So let me fix that using our new drag and drop option. Did I ever get the mail packages add-in working all right? I'm not sure. It does work, but I'm not sure. I knew I had stuff coming in, and the holidays were the perfect time to try it out. But I had stuff showing that I didn't think was listed in there, or it wasn't listed as what it was. Like FedEx didn't show me FedEx. It just said package and route or something like that. I'll go check on that here in a second. It's on the dashboard. All right, so now we have this, but if we edit the dashboard, you'll notice we don't have, see, we have the arrow thingies, like I talked about, the edit button, then we have the three dots. Because we haven't gone in here to the resource editor and added that little piece of code we need in order to make it drag and droppable. So now we go back over here and we take this little type custom grid D&D thing, add it right here under, I put it under path, and save it. Edit the raw configuration editor, and now right away, without even having to go back out completely, I can do this. So now I can take this and drag this wherever. Drag these cards wherever. I can also resize them. Let's say I want this to be super huge. I don't know why I'd ever do that, but I can, and I can put this over here. So now I have 2 light bulb switches over here, and I have the weather card over here. So that's super simple to do. You can make this as small as you want, as long as you, well, now I broke it. There we go. You can make these huge if you really want to do that, which I don't. You can make these really small. So I can take these buttons. And what's really nice about these buttons like this is I can now just kind of place them wherever I want them. And this is what I'm going to like about this because, and let me save this. Let me get out of here and save it. And I can squish this up. Although when you got to be careful too, that when you make it too small, it doesn't fit all of this stuff. And being in the dark mode theme, it's hard to see that background. All right, so if we go to get out of this, now we have our dashboard thing here. If I look at my regular dashboard, I don't think I need these up here anymore because I have the state of my thermostats over here. So I would like to be able to drag these kind of down over here out of the way. For me to move that now, I have to delete them from this card, the grid card thing I'm in now, and then move them over here. I wonder if having the ability to move things around negates the purpose for the grid cards entirely. So I go to drag and, that's not what I want. I go to random. You know what? Tell me what I did wrong. I know what I did wrong, but oh yeah, and this Lisa now is saying that I'm probably saying your name wrong. It would seem this will be a replacement for grid cards for those that don't want to go YAML path. Yes, and that's what I was saying. And I didn't save it. I forgot to save the changes. So go back to edit. Let me take and put these over here. Resize it again. And what I wonder too is the responsive design. Is it going to allow me to? I need to open this like on a mobile device, but he says, it's not mobile friendly at this point. Where did I see that? Either he said it or it's up here somewhere. I know I read it. Anyway, it's not mobile friendly at this point, which I'm sure will be worked on in the future. But when you're done, you have to save the layout or it's not going to save it. But again, like I said, I could put these wherever I want to, and then I don't have to worry about the grid cards. It almost seems to me like I could set this right here. I guess it has to have a Y value of 0 or something, but I can move it anywhere over here. It doesn't have to correspond to it. Now, he also talked about the fact that it doesn't do space as well. So like if you have a space between the cards, it's not going to work the way it's supposed to. So there's still some work to be done, but it's something to keep in mind as you're starting to design things. Check back every once in a while and see what the progress is of the grid card or the drag and drop and see if that's working the way it should, or working for what you need it to work for. It'll work the way it's supposed to, however it's designed. So, all right. So that's the drag and drop for the most part. Send me questions, etc. Let me look at this mail thing. So I have this, and this is what this now is talking about. And if I'm butchering your screen name or whatever, apologize for that. Mail updated, and it's Sunday, so I shouldn't have any mail here. But this is the mail integration. What's it called? Mail integration? It's HACS. I'm probably right. So let me go down here and find it. I wish HACS would put the installed things at the top, so I don't have to go down to the bottom every time. Mail and packages. So if we look at the information for mail and packages, it's an integration that creates sensors for supported shippers like FedEx, UPS, mail systems. I don't know which all ones are on there. And in the US, of course, the USPS. So what I've learned is it actually checks my inbox. So you set up an inbox, or you set up this thing to check your inbox. And you have to sign up for these email alerts, or these emails that tell you that certain statuses of your package are going along. And it then checks your email box to see if you've got an email from these things, and then it parses it out based on whatever the format for the mail is. I am seeing this one every day. So that's working fine. It tells me down here, whoops. See, now I need to go back to my other window. It tells me on this card how many mail pieces I have coming that day. And when I was doing the FedEx stuff and the UPS stuff, I couldn't really tell whether or not it was from, I think one of them said UPS maybe, and the other one just said packages. So I'm not sure if there's something there. I guess I haven't experimented with it enough to know whether it's working. I mean, whether it's reading the emails correctly. But if it's working for anybody, it should work fine. I looked at it and said, that's interesting. I've got a package coming today, or a package in transit. I would think I would have a package in transit. Now, the other thing that may be the problem is I've signed up for all these services through UPS, FedEx, USPS to email me package updates. And I wonder if I'm getting all of them, because I know that I had some packages coming in. Oh, you know what's not on there? Well, let me check. What I'm not getting notified of is anything from the world's largest online shopping store. Well, that's probably gonna get me in trouble. Amazon. I don't think I get anything from Amazon. So let me look at this information and see if Amazon is part of it. And y'all probably answer it before I even get to it here. Oh, it does not. Oh, you know what, Richard? I don't see the mail. That would be helpful. I don't see the picture of the mail. I get it in my inbox, but I don't see the picture. So let me look here under info again. Yeah, so I probably don't. I would say 98.35593% of my packages come from this right here. But I don't know that I ever get anything from them directly. So maybe I haven't signed up. Yeah, see regex, and this is what it tells you. The body text is, it looks for this body text, And then here it looks for order numbers. So I maybe don't have this set up through Amazon correctly where I'm getting information, because what happens is Amazon hands it off to, yeah. I don't see the images at all. Richard or Theslo, I don't see those. But again, I don't see anything here. But the fact that they hand that off to shippers, maybe what's going on. And let me think. Actually, I think I do get notified through Amazon. Let me. I don't have anything coming in. I shouldn't. Wait for it. There we go. It opened in the other screen. I get commercials. For example, right now, discover the latest deals in entertainment. Yeah, so I don't know. I have to watch it some more. Does it work for y'all all the time? Does it show the images and stuff? And I bet you anything, my image path is the problem here. I may not have the image path set up. Where's that configuration at? Is that something I can go back and fix, or do I have to delete it and start over? Once you have finished installing through this, go to configuration integration, select a plus, add mail and packages. Okay. Let's go see that. Configuration integrations. And I have mail and packages on here somewhere, right? Yes, this right here. All right, give me a second. Let me make sure I don't have anything secret on that, and I will bring it back. Mail and packages. Okay, so one thing I can show you here is the sensors. So these are all the things I'm looking for. Mail FedEx, mail FedEx, mail FedEx, mail updated, mail UPS. Oh, you know what's not on here? Amazon is not on here. So images shown, it is only showing images for USPS and shows no mail if you don't expect anything. It's under configuration. Thing with Amazon is that they push through the app to your packages or through your Alexas. I used to get emails, but if you have the other two, you won't get emails. Okay. Yeah, I have the little round things, the Alexa devices. As far as packages, Amazon is a bit odd. I usually get the correct number, but sometimes it shows. Yeah, so maybe that's what's happening. But I don't see the sensor on here, or the entity. So that's probably why the Amazon thing doesn't even work, because it's not even listed. So what did I do wrong? Under configuration, probably. Let me see. Well, I'm gonna just go crazy here and click on this and see. Oh no. Oh, now you know my mail server. Darn it. Oh, that doesn't help me any. Options? No, that's what I just looked at. System options? No. So I guess in order to, I don't know why the Amazon stuff didn't show up. There's probably something I didn't do. So let me look at the entities again. Sensor, mail. Yeah, oh, duh, it's right here. All right, I do have this sensor. All right. Apologies. So yeah, and then the card, I guess the card just builds off of that integration. Maybe I did something with the card. Let me look at the card. What did I do with the card here? Edit dashboard. And then go to this card, or edit this thing here. And then come down the card. Look at all those nested cards. Ooh boy, I got 10 rows of nested grid cards inside my grid cards. I got grid cards inside of grid cards inside of grid cards. And more grid cards. Oh, you know why? Look, I didn't name these things. No wonder I don't know what they are. It's just generic. So if I don't name it, how am I supposed to know what kind of package it is, right? That's probably why I don't understand what's going on. This would be UPS. Wait. Oh, UPS in transit. Yep. I don't have anything right now, obviously, but at least I would know what it was if I named it correctly. Name. UPS delivered. No. Wait, sensor mail packages delivered. What is that? Wait. That's not right. They say sensor mail packages in transit. Maybe I didn't name those because I didn't know what they were. So this is definitely UPS. This one, I don't know what it is. Sensor mail packages in transit. So is that just USPS? Oh, yeah. So, yeah, I had them. Yeah, I didn't set up so it's a camera object with the file path. So it's probably storing that stuff on there. I just don't have the camera stuff set up. I need to play with that and see if I can get that to work. But it is working. I mean, I did see various things as we were had packages coming in. So what are these? Are these all USPS, the sensor mail packages? I guess I need to go back to the integration and look. Or you can just tell me. USPS is mail, USPS packages. All right, what do we got here? USPS mail, USPS FedEx packages, UPS packages. I don't know what these are, unless these are probably those things that are handed off, like Amazon hands off a lot of their work to the post office here. These are maybe just regular packages or in transit, or like I subscribe to like Dollar Shave Club or whatever, and they send a package. It's probably a USPS package in transit or package delivered. Well, but that's up here. I'm probably overthinking it. So bad indentation. Where did I screw that up?
The garage door is open.
Yeah, the garage door's open for those that care. All right, this is where I have a bad indentation. What did I do wrong here? I don't see it. Bad indentation of a sequence entry at line 13, column 9, UPS packages. Not seeing why, because these are the same up here. I'm going to save it anyway. Probably blow up. Oh, yeah. See, I broke it. Yep, I broke it. I think those are total packages. So to answer your question with a really long answer, yes, I did get it working. I probably just don't have it named correctly, so I know which device is doing what at this point. All right, so let me fix this. Golly, what did I do wrong? I broke it, is what I did. So it says this is, oh. Now there's nothing wrong with it. Oh, now I really broke it. Oh, here. That's why. Okay, let me fix it. Let me get to my nested card with my nested cards and my nested cards. So I have the word name after here. This should be name. And it should be name : UPS packages. And now there's no error. Oh, well, see, it still says bad. Is there, because there's a space there? What? See what happens when you take a working thing and you mess with it? Oh, entity. Entity, people. Entity. I don't even know what happened to that. Okay, everybody's happy now. Everybody's happy. Save it. It's back. I have no mail coming today because there's no mail delivered on a Sunday. Normally, actually, USPS does deliver packages on Sunday, but just not to the mailbox. Sweet. Okay. Yes, it's working. Oh, and everyone's telling me what I did wrong while I'm paying attention. So I watch live streams all the time. I just want to jump in the live stream and say, I see your problem. I know I can fix it for you. Read the chat. And then I'm doing this and people are telling me in chat what's wrong and I'm not paying attention. I should learn. It's a double. Yeah, everything's a double. I'm a double. You know what it is? I think it's because I'm drinking this coffee. That's good. Not really. That's all right. Okay, so we talked about the custom grid cards, or we talked about the do not disturb, the D&D, the drag and drop, and how this is useful. It seems to work. It does what it's supposed to. I don't have a mobile device to try it on, but it said somewhere it's not mobile friendly. So again, I think that's probably related to the responsive CSS not working the way it should, or not ready or not done yet. What else do we want to talk about today? What else we have going on? I don't want to gloat or make a big deal of the fact that I got my Blue, my Home Assistant Blue device. I didn't think I was going to get it. And if I already talked about this, I apologize. It's still sitting in a box. I have not opened it. I will tell you one thing about, and this is a Chris personal moment. And I'm sure anyone that makes videos with technology has this same kind of whatever. It's not a problem. It's just a thing. I can't open that box until I'm ready to decide whether I want to make a video out of unboxing the thing. So I buy something, and when I buy it, I'm an impulse buyer sometimes. I want to open it up and I want to play with it right away. But doing these videos, as I've been doing for the last few months, I can't open a box until I'm ready to film it if I'm going to make a film of it or video of it. So my Blue is sitting in a box because I haven't figured out what I want to do in terms of the video for that thing. So I don't even get to play with it until I get to that point. So I got a Blue and it's sitting in a box all by itself, all lonely, but I will get to that. There have been a number of Blues that have been purchased by folks. And so the question becomes, is it worth making a video on it? I don't know. I mean, it's out there. I might, because everybody's situation is different. So I may elect to just install a backup snapshot from the snapshots and just get it up and running. Or I may elect to go do one thing at a time and kind of clean things up as I go along. My biggest problem with all of that is that I have a Z-Wave hub sitting on my production server, and all of this stuff here is Z-Wave for the most part. Yeah, that's Z-Wave. All of these lighting things are Z-Wave. The door locks are Z-Wave. The garage door is Z-Wave. These sensors are actually on the alarm panel, so they're not Z-Wave. But if I want to take the time to make a video on the Blue and not bring my Z-Wave stuff over, then none of that's going to work. If I don't just do an all or nothing, they call it a forklift swap out or whatever. So anyway, oh, hey, Geo. Yeah, very true. I have a new toy. I can't play with it because I need to make a video first. I didn't know Geo was even here. How you doing, Geo? Still want to do that collab, Geo. We need to set that up. Geo from Smart Homemakers. He's got a lot of good videos. Subscribe to his channel. Get on over there and do that. Subscribe to my channel if you're not a subscriber. That would be awesome too. Anyway, that's a long story about the Blue. I do have the Blue now, finally. I want to plug my Back to Basics series. I'm working on that now. Just like I said, I'm working on stuff that's brand new. I don't know. When I look at the audience on the live stream, I have no idea what y'all's background is in terms of Home Assistant and how new you are to it. But if you're brand new to Home Assistant and you have questions about things that you think would be good for the Back to the Basics or Beginner series, let me know so I can, and send me messages on Discord or wherever on that, because I want to be able to make content that's useful. For me, when I'm doing a Back to the Basics, having played with this for a while now, it's hard for me. I have to get back in the mindset of what is basic. And so I have a second video coming out on Thursday, and it's talks about add-ons and doing snapshots and stuff like that, and maybe a simple automation. I don't know if that's what people are doing or what people need help with or want. So if you are new to Home Assistant and you're watching the stream right now, make sure that you let me know on my Discord server that you would like me to make a video on this topic or whatever. And that's true for anything, right? I take video suggestions and I typically make them. Last live stream was actually based off of a request. So I do honor those. I don't have so much content backed up that I just say, no, I'll get to that in 6 months. No, I like and I appreciate the ideas. So send me ideas if you want me to do something. What other questions do we have for the live stream today? What else can I talk about here? We may wrap it up soon if we have nothing else going on. But let me just look through here. I do have a few video ideas that I'm talking about doing, maybe some more Node-RED stuff. Raise your hand if you want to do more Node-RED. Raise your hand if you want more Grafana stuff. So some thoughts I have are building a speaker device that doesn't rely on the cloud. I will not. I will tell you how frustrated I get that I have to keep re-authenticating the Alexa stuff. About once every 2 or 3 restarts, or just in general randomly, I'll get a notification over here that tells me I have to come into my configuration, and I will have to re-authenticate my Alexa devices, or they won't work. And so that's frustrating. I don't like having to do that. It may push me to switch to an all Google infrastructure if that keeps happening. Because so far, Google TTS stuff I haven't had to worry about. It's the TTS stuff that doesn't work with my authentication, or when I'm not authenticated. So I don't know why it does that, but I have a CAPTCHA. I have a two-factor authentication thing I have to go through every time I have to re-auth it. It's a pain in the butt. So I would prefer that. So I'm toying with an idea. I bought the parts to maybe make some sort of local speaker. The problem with that, of course, is if you want to have one in every room or in multiple rooms, you got to build this little thing for every room and have some sort of amp to drive it and all the other junk. So that's a con for doing something like that. So any other questions? Anything else going on today? What's happening? Someone's typing. Let's see what they're going to say. While I get a sip of coffee in my torn up mug. I love this mug, but the little that little cover, that stuff is coming off. I washed it too much. Just ripped it right off. I'm waiting for that comment. I'm waiting for it. Anyway, that's what I wanted to talk about today. What else was in my just random thoughts? Yep, random thoughts. Any other stuff here that we talked about? How do I consider the speech recognition for Google versus Amazon? So on my desk here, I have. That's a funny question because I have a beef with one of those things. I have I don't know what generation Dot I have, the Alexa thing, the Echo Dot. It's probably like there's a 4th generation now. So this one's probably like it's a 2nd generation, and I have a Nest Mini. And there's a couple of thoughts. Number one, the Alexa devices sound robotic. They sound like a computer. The Google devices sound like someone talking. The recognition when I'm across the room, it seems to be okay. And I think I'm having some problems with multiple devices, Alexa devices, hearing me at the same time. So that might be the problem. There's one in my kitchen. And it's the tall tower, which is like the 1st generation, I guess. And I think it's deaf. I swear it's deaf. Either that or it's hearing. The one upstairs, if I'm in the kitchen, the one upstairs will hear me before the kitchen one does sometimes. So I think either there's dust in the microphone hole, or it's just 1st generation old and it doesn't understand me as well, or it's hearing other stuff. So much so that I think I want to put the Google Nest Mini in the kitchen and just not use the Alexa. But you have the acceptance factor here where everyone's used to saying Alexa do something, where I'd have to retrain them to say okay G do something, and so that would be a change. But I really like the Google stuff at this point, maybe better than Alexa. I looked at her to see if she's going to hear me, but I keep them both here on my desk in where I'm at now because I play with them both. So I have that smart switch I got with the Google Nest Mini, and if you watch that video, you saw that little smart switch. I cannot integrate that to my Home Assistant, which is very disappointing. So it's the only thing I can control with my. It can only be controlled by Google's Nest Mini. I can't control it with the Alexa, so it doesn't do anything right now. We have a little upstairs Christmas tree we had plugged into it. Now that's put away. That switch doesn't do anything. It's an orphan. So. For voice recognition, they seem to be okay, except that kitchen one. It's just deaf. And I think it's maybe because it's 1st gen. Now there's a 4th gen that's coming out, and I don't know if that'd be something that I want to try to play around with as well and see if it works better than the other one. Plus, that one in the kitchen sits on top of the fridge, and it's like foot tall. It looks like a huge monolith now compared to everything else. So I would like to have that much smaller footprint. Thought about trying to build a homebrew item using Ada and other source options. So can you change the Nest Mini to have a different wake word? I don't like the OKG because that's too many syllables. I would just like to say, yo, do something or whatever the wake word. Can you change wake words on Nest Minis? I haven't tried that. So in terms of building a homebrew item, yeah, there is actually somebody's done it. I was going to kind of do that. That's where I got the parts from. I ordered some parts from somewhere. I have the little boards that I need and the cabling I need. I just need to find some way to amplify it so you can hear it. And somebody's talking about taking some of these old broken like Echo devices and using the speakers, the innards for that, and see if that works. So that's possible too. But I get tired of having to rely on the cloud stuff. I'm not talking about like Nabu Casa. I'm talking about anything cloud related in my infrastructure because authentication is becoming more of an issue. You've got to have multi-layer authentication, and then you've got to make that work for long periods of time, and you got to re-authenticate. So I'd rather have something that would work all the time. And for me, I don't care if I can tell a thing to turn on or off from the smart speaker. What I care about is something like, hey, the power's out in the garage. My smart speaker is supposed to tell me that. If the thing is offline because it hasn't authenticated and I don't know, well, that's pointless. Now, I do have my watch and my phone telling me too, but that's not the point. The other point is like the fridge door. If it gets left open, the fridge door announces it. But if it's offline, no one's going to hear it. And if I don't re-authenticate every once in a while, then everything stops working. That is unreliable, and I don't like unreliability in that regard. So I would love to have a local option for that. And so yeah, any plans on doing tutorials for an all button mobile dash for smart devices? So this right here, this dashboard, when I go to my mobile device, and I can't stream my mobile device on here. I don't know how to do that. Yeah, I can record it, but I can't stream it yet. This actually is a start for that. I think that's what you're talking about. I can certainly build a mobile tutorial. That would be fun. Some of the stuff isn't necessary. I have everything on one dashboard because I look at it, but I could, if you go in here, you can set, I think, let me make sure I'm not wrong. Yeah, every device allows you to set a number of things. Number one, you can set your theme. So you can go to light theme, oh, that gets bright, or dark theme, or you can set whatever theme you want. You can choose a theme per device. Why is this in GBs? Okay. Well, what did that change? Profile? Nothing. Well, it's still English, whatever. The Queen's English or not. And then you can pick the default device. So you could take your device, build a dashboard. Let's say you took this dashboard and removed all this stuff that wasn't necessary, which this is a good point. I may do this because I don't need some of this. Build this little dashboard as your default dashboard and only have the buttons on it. And then now you have your button device. Yeah, I could do that. Jay, I don't want to change emulation because I think, where's that at? Emulation? I don't know where that is. Settings. So Jay's saying, we can change emulation to be a like a mobile browser, but I don't know where that is, and I'm probably showing all my business here. Or I could shrink it down. Let me try that. So this is what it looks like on my mobile device. No. Oh, see what it's doing here? It's not actually emulating a mobile device. It's making two columns. But on my mobile device, this is all one single column. Yeah, I can't get over far enough. Yeah, so anyway, the buttons, you could set all these buttons and just have them be the only thing on the dashboard. Set that as your default dashboard for that device, because every device, every browser, as a matter of fact, here will allow you to set that. If I did an incognito tab, I bet you it would default to, don't look at my IP. Oh no, you know my IP now. Just kidding. Let me log into this and I'll be right back. I don't remember what my password is. I do know what my password is. Okay. So now I'm in the default settings for Home Assistant. So even it's browser like session, not session, it's browser cache based or whatever. It's set in your browser instance. So everyone, you can even have multiple browsers have different looks or different buttons if you're testing things. And so if I wanted to go to the dark mode here, I could go to dark mode and I could set my default dashboard as this random, or if I wanted to. And where's the save button? Oh my gosh, there's so much long stuff here. Don't look at all my secret stuff. And now if I refresh this, it should go to random as my default dashboard. I'm a liar. It doesn't. Anyway, you can. So when you talk about doing buttons, all button mobile dash for smart devices, use the navigation feature in the button. Developer tools. Developer tools. All right, so let's go to developer tools. F11, F12. All right, so developer tools, and then from there, what do we do? I used to do this with an add-on to simulate the different types of things. I'm not sure how to do it in developer tools. Use the navigation feature in the button. I'm trying to figure that out. Yeah, I'm missing it. And again, someone's probably screaming in their head off saying, it's right there. It's somewhere. Yeah, I don't see it. So use the what? Navigation feature in the button. Yeah, I'm totally getting off base here. Yeah, tell me how to. I did have 12, but I'm not sure how to set the emulation even in developer tools. So where in the developer tools do you set the emulation? Because these are not settings. Is it up here? Oh, hello. I bet it's here somewhere, isn't it? Bum, bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. Nope. Experiments. Oh, look, I can do experiments. Oh, here we go. So I'm going to emulate Moto G4. What is that? Let's do I need to unselect all these. I want to do a Galaxy. What in the world? S3. So is it going to emulate this? Like, how do I tell it to just emulate one of these? It's not doing it. Or do I have to turn it on? Second icon from left, upper left corner. Oh. No. Yes? Oh, hello. Okay, so I don't know what we're emulating here. So this is what it looks like on my phone, I guess. So, yeah, pretty much. Sweet, look at that. Every day we learn something. Okay, so this is essentially what it looks like on my phone, and I don't know if I could choose, like, it's just, I don't know what it's doing, but this looks like my phone. So we have all of these buttons here, and you could take your dashboard and get rid of all the second column or third column stuff like I have, and just have a row of buttons, and then that way you can just have a button-only dashboard for smart device. This is essentially a smart device, like a phone. You could set this emulation or this screen size to whatever your smart device is. You could rotate it, I think. Yeah, so this is landscape mode on the same device. And this is really still what it would look like in landscape mode. So if you're building like a wall dash or something like that, you could set all these buttons up. Or you could experiment with it here before you stick it on your dashboard. This is cool because I might actually play with this a little bit. And maybe even make a video on it. So let me jot that down for my video ideas, because that's pretty cool. A pretty cool idea, as a matter of fact. Just to see how that looks and all that. Show somebody how this is done. But anyway, that's what it looks like. This dashboard looks like. If we look at that drag and drop, this is a good way to test that drag and drop thing. So I am on the drag and drop dashboard, emulating a mobile device with responsive, and you can actually simulate here. Let's do an S5. All right, so this actually is, now if we go back to the regular dashboard, now we're actually looking at a phone. This looks more like my phone. It's actually a little smaller. So yeah, there you go. Cool. So you can emulate anything here that you've selected in that other section. iPad Pro, iPhones, Pixels. It doesn't have like the newer phones. Like my S9 is not on here. That's not even a new phone. That's an old phone. And the new iPhone 25 and the Galaxy 30,000. None of that stuff's on here. Interesting. But the size is really what determines it for the most part. So this is what it would look like on that. I love the button animation and action tiles. Can action tiles be used in HA, or is there a way to animate buttons to emulate this action? So what specifically are you doing with the animation? So let me get out of this business here. Uh-oh. I closed it. Did I close my thing? Oh no, end of the world. Not really. Let me get back into my HA here. There's my HA. Action tiles. Action. Come on. Have you looked at about it? Have you looked at the custom button card? You can do a lot of stuff that I have not done with the custom button card. Oh, I see what you're saying. Action tiles is a whole thing. Action tiles is simple. Okay, I better be quiet. I'm going to get some copyright ding for that. So this is, now looking at this picture, strictly looking at this picture, this is 157% doable in Home Assistant. You just have to build it. In fact, it's super easy. Pulsing or fading on button. Okay, so in that regard, ooh, that looks like Windows. We're getting closer. Closer. Okay, so in Home Assistant, if somebody right here, you can see that is motion in the kitchen. And that means that someone's walked in. That is a custom button card that I have essentially animated, right? For when there's motion detected or when it's in an on state, it does this pulsing thing. There are so many options in custom button cards that I haven't even looked at that are most likely something that would work for what you're talking about. And the ability to build a dashboard like this one using the UI, or have it built for, let's say, the size of the device that you're talking about in a responsive fashion, is going to allow you to do that. All you're doing here is you're putting these things where you want them and then doing a little bit of maybe some code work to make it respond the way you want. So looking at the options here, there's blink, changing the feedback color, doing a click, so you can make it sort of pulsing or fading on button. So like, I guess you mean when something happens, some sort of haptic feedback. It can be useful to change the feedback color when clicking the button. The ripple effect uses this element, so you can style it with CSS. So I'm assuming that, and Lucky J says app daemon. I don't know that. Well, app daemon is like a whole dashboarding thing. Yes, I used app daemon for a while. I used a different thing there was a different one that wasn't an app daemon as well. I forgot what it was called, but I have experimented. Oh, Tileboard. I used Tileboard. I had it on my tablet for a long time. I used Tileboard in the kiosk thing. There's a kiosk type setup that I set it in, and so it would boot into the Tileboard, and I would use that. this stuff has become so easy, these dashboards now, that I don't think it's necessary to go to all the trouble of building out something in AppDaemon or building something in another add-on. And no, I'm not sliding anyone's work on any of that stuff. I'm just saying that a lot of things were built to overcome some challenges to building dashboards. Now it is super simple to build a dashboard the way you want it to be. Now, if there are features that aren't available in the dashboards that are available in some of these other things, then I would definitely, talk about maybe doing something else. But especially with drag and drop now, once that becomes more refined, you can just kind of take, let's say you want these buttons over here and you want the weather card over here, and you want that to display in a tablet sized deal and maybe a couple of cameras. My brother has actually built a couple of these things. I don't know if he's on here or not, probably not, but if he was on here, I would ask him to see if he could share like a couple screenshots or whatever. Maybe in Discord, I'll see if he can share a screenshot or two of his things. But he's built those through the UI. I don't think that he's running any kind of accessory or add-on. So, with things like doing animations and things like that, I guarantee you somebody's done it. Whether it's easy to implement or not, that's another story. But things like the custom button card where you have lights or things that are flickering or doing whatever, whenever there's a status change, that's probably what you're talking about. And when I push these buttons, some of these here, by default, when I push on them on my phone, I get the haptic feedback. So I get a buzz or I get a vibration or whatever. So some of that happens automatically within the button cards. So yeah, I think you can do what you want to do. I wouldn't say you would need something like action tiles, but again, I'm not trying to slight. I don't know that thing that well, that program or whatever that well. Everything has its place. Some of the other automation systems require you to do a lot of work to kind of build some of this. I think we've come a long, long way in Home Assistant since I started. I built everything initially in YAML, and now I've come to enjoy the UI version of this because I can just come in here and I can click on Edit Dashboard, and I can just do whatever I want here in terms of editing this stuff. And now with grid cards, I don't have to use vertical stack or horizontal stack anymore because I just nest grid cards. I mean, look at that. I got 10 levels of nest cards or grid cards nested within this one panel here. So however you could build it however you want to. So that was a long answer. Yeah. So, and I think that's what Lucky J was saying with AppDaemon. AppDaemon is, I think it may have even started out as some sort of dashboarding thing. Let me see what that shows these days. Welcome to AppDaemon's documentation. House users. AppDaemon 4. So this is an add-on, and I use this for, you can run, AppDaemon allows you to run programs within Home Assistant, so Python stuff. You can add, like, see, here's somebody's example of what they did with it. You can still do this stuff now, even in Home Assistant, but things like, I'm not sure about things like the spacing here or getting this just exactly like this. You may still have to do a little bit of work with that. But again, it's come a long way in the dashboarding, and you can do a lot of that within Home Assistant natively. But AppDaemon is an add-on that allows you to run Python programs within Home Assistant, interface with the items that are provided, the entities and things like that. All right, cool. Let's go a few more minutes. Does anybody have any other questions or just curious about stuff or suggestions or comments or, I don't know, criticisms? I'll take those too. Curious about this. Let me check something here on my YouTube feed. Where is that stuff at? Where's my chat? Okay, so what does that do? All right, so Super Chat does work on there. I was curious about that. Although, it's interesting. I don't see any chatting. Yeah, I'm just talking to myself. All right, cool. What else we want to talk about today? Talked about the blue. Talked about maybe some video ideas. Uh, we did some custom cards. We did drag and drop, which is the main point. Um, and someone commented about my water usage last time. So yes, I've used 135 gallons today. I don't know where. Washing machine, maybe. I don't know. What's normal for someone to use? I mean, I got a house of two kids and two adults and one kid. Well, nowadays we're doing a lot of hand washing, so that's probably part of that. But I don't know what normal is. The water company says that they give us a average monthly average, so I think we're within the average. Synologies are all working good. House power is all working good. What else we got? Anybody else have any comments or questions for today? Let me make sure I just covered everything. Volume, media extractor. Got another howdy. Had some folks join since then. How am I calculating my water usage? Great question. Great question. I brought this up before, so let's. This is how I'm doing water usage. I'm using this thing called Flume. It is a device that sits on my water meter, and it doesn't do that. It's this little device here, basically sits on your water meter, and ours is in the ground, just like that. It straps onto the water meter, and it measures pressure fluctuations within the water meter itself, and tells you whether or not your water is on. It transducer based, I guess. I'm curious how that works because it's amazing to me that it can do that. Then I go into integrations, and there's actually an integration for that called Flume, and then I have one device, and I have seven entities. So I have 7 entities. It measures 24 hours, 30 days, 1 hour, current usage, current days, month, and week usage. So all those are available as entities to me. And then I just come down here to my dashboard, and I just choose I choose the day, the week, and the month. And they auto reset, I guess, at the beginning of the month. I don't know what day of the week it restarts the week water on, but I would assume it would be like a Sunday or something. Although today is Sunday, and we didn't use 2872, so that's something I need to figure out too. Is what is it resetting this week as? Because maybe that's the last 7 days. It could be just last 7 days versus the beginning of the week, and of course this would be reset on the first of the month, and this would be just for the last day starting at midnight. And I was doing weather. I was doing current usage, but that doesn't really matter to me that much. If someone turns the water on for a minute or two in a faucet or whatever, it doesn't really register very long. So I don't look at that anymore. I do track it for those that like data in Grafana. A lot of this stuff I put in Grafana because one day I might like to see what the trend is for something. And so somewhere in here, I need to find it, maybe quick glance. I look at the water usage over time, and I graph that. So here's my water usage. And this looks like day. So if I look at this graph, current day. And so this is current day water. And at midnight, it resets back to 0. So yesterday we made it up to 213 gallons, and it reset. And then starting around when people started waking up this morning, water started going up. And then it looks like here might have been the washing machine or something. Well, that's a lot of water. Anyway, I track that way. So I use that Flume meter, and our utility actually gave us a rebate on those. So I got to basically get it for free. And then you have to tie it to your account to the Flume account. But I don't care if they're looking at my water usage, and there's nothing secret about my water usage that I want to hide from anybody. So I tie those two together. It is Wi-Fi. No, I'm always happy to talk about stuff again because I know not everyone's on the stream all the time. It's over Wi-Fi. It has its own receiver that plugs into the network. It's probably 900 megahertz or something like that. But it has a little device, and then it's sitting out in the ground. It's battery powered. It's attached to the water meter under the cover in the ground, probably 50, maybe 35 or 40 yards from where the water meter is, through the radiant heat barrier of the house, and it works. It works fine. I have no problems with the sensor coverage or anything, and I've had it in there a year or more, maybe even longer. And it reports my battery every month. I get an email from them telling about water usage, and it reports the battery level, and it's still full battery. So it's amazing. It just sits there forever and does stuff. A video going through your Grafana graphs and how you built them. I would like to learn about using Grafana. I have that. I have a couple of videos on using Grafana. In fact, I have a playlist on using Grafana. So I talk about. I'm trying to find out where to find it. Someone's talking about fridge temp again. I think I tried to show this last time, and the thing failed. My computer stopped working or something. Let's look at the fridge temp, and I'll show you what is going on with the fridge temp. So my refrigerator, and there's a fridge temp sensor I have. I have the Sonoff. Can I use it to connect my ceiling fans? I tried using an RM Pro and could not connect with it. Sonoff RF bridge. I don't know, but I know somebody on here probably knows the answer to that. I'm using a Sonoff sensor for my refrigerator, but I haven't done anything with the bridge to see if we can use it with ceiling fans. There's a lot of options for ceiling fans now too, where you can plug that stuff. In fact, last week someone was on the live stream talking about a dimmer switch or whatever they have in the wall that they're able to use with that as well. So it's either Tasmodo. I think you're flashing with something like Tasmodo or something, right? So someone's going to be able to answer that on here. Let me let that simmer a minute while I look at this. So in terms of the refrigerator, let me bring this up to big view. And we look at just temperature. Now this was because we were in it at lunchtime or whatever. So it's a little higher here. But it fluctuates all the way down from, that says 43. Now, I don't know how calibrated this sensor is in there. Also, it sits, if I take the sensor from my refrigerator, that Sonoff sensor, and let me just find it. I'll show you all what I'm talking about here, so you are not wondering what I'm talking about. That made no sense. I will show you what I'm talking about so you don't wonder whatever. Let me find it on my list of orders here, and I'll show you what it is that we're talking about. It's a little device, basically a Wi-Fi device that has a temperature probe plugged into it, and then that goes into the refrigerator. I last purchased this on whatever day this was. Wow, what are you doing, computer? So this is it. So I have this little box in the refrigerator. It's just this little wire, and I just stick this on top of the fridge, and I just stick the wire through the door. It doesn't cause much of an issue because it just, the little magnet seals around the door. So what it is this is sitting on kind of the side wall of the refrigerator. If I set it, it depends on where I set it in the refrigerator as well. The temperature changes pretty, it's not super significantly, but enough that it makes a difference on where I put it. So if I were to put it on a different shelf, it would be a different temperature. This is almost to the very front of the refrigerator, away from where the cool air comes in. So what I'm doing with this sensor is not necessarily watching the exact temperature, but I'm watching for when the temperature becomes super high. So if it's above 50 degrees for more than 60 minutes, I get an alert because we're having a problem with the defrost cycle on the fridge. And then I go push a manual defrost. Typically that happens if the freezer gets left open and the humidity then builds up ice on the little fins that allow the air to go to the refrigerator part of it. So Yeah, I don't know that. Hey, thanks, Gio. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, we're gonna wrap up here in a couple of minutes anyway. And could not get it working on the remote fans. Yeah, so that sounds like it's not going to work. Anyway, the fridge temp it fluctuates, and I'm really just monitoring the trend. If we look at the last, let's go the last 90 days or whatever. If it starts to do stuff like this, and you've seen a few spikes here, it gets up this high, that means I have a problem with it. And so I need to go fix or go run a manual thing. So it's basically for monitoring to make sure it's not getting too hot in there. But I could set it down, I guess, there's a setting. It's probably on 4, which is what they recommend. I could set it to a cooler temperature and see if it drops it down some more. We're all still alive, so so I guess we did. I guess it's okay. Did I try LY something? Hold on a second. I want to make sure I don't have too many tabs open. I have a fix in works for the resource usage on my computer here, but not today. LYWSD03MMC. Huh. I have not. I see a lot of people talking about AliExpress. I have not ordered from them anything, but I know there's a lot of stuff out there. Now, how would this integrate to my automation and my home assistant stuff? Did you try for the fridge? Is this just standalone, or does it talk to something else? Oh, hey, man, I wish my brother were on here because I think he's doing something with ceiling fans separate. So my MJ Tasmo tie switches can at least turn the fan on or off. Maybe that's what he can do. But BLE. So is that you're gonna have to school me on that? What happened to my thing? I lost it again. I think I'm going away from my home assistant instance whenever I'm doing things here. BLE. Is that an integration? Am I going to be dumb again? Probably. Blee blocks. I have a bunch of these. They are Bluetooth BLE, so you need an ESP. Oh, okay, cool. So it's just the module that sits on the ESP and ESP32. And then it reads the BLE stuff. Does it read like my weather station stuff does, where it just sends MQTT stuff over? Because if that's the case, I would definitely try that out. What's the temperature range on that thing? I closed. Oh, here it is. Oh, no, didn't close it out. Kind of closed it out. And does it do Fahrenheit? I guess I could convert it if it doesn't. Temperature measurement 0 to 60. Wow. That's cold. Actually, what is 0? So that's 32. So it wouldn't work in a freezer, would it? If I could put something in the refrigerator that wouldn't have a wire connected to it, I would definitely try that out. So integrate to HAV ESP home, which I think I already have. Somewhere here. Yeah. So I have one device. That's the tag reader. So I already have that running. I would just need to add in. Oh man, this looks like it's going to be a fun project. I'm going to try that. So, and somebody said video on what? Great place to purchase things on the cheap. Does it take forever to get them? How long does it take to get things? Does it come from China? This is gonna be something I'm gonna play with. I think I have some ESP home stuff here. ESP, yeah. Zippy the Zappy just advanced to level. Oh, that's the bot. Good job. Freezer would not work. No, but I wonder if they have a module that would. I mean, I don't even have it in the freezer anyway. It's the refrigerator I want to monitor without a wire. Yeah, I'm excited. I'm gonna try that out. Somebody asked something else. Video. Did you try for the fridge? I'm looking for a tutorial video on how to install HA on a Windows. On a Windows what? On a Windows, just install it in Windows. You'd have to run a VM, I believe. It's not going to just install natively on Windows. If you have, and I can't say your name, so I'm not going to try it. But if you have a Pi 4 laying around, I would recommend something like that over putting it on Windows. Unless you're just going to run it in a virtualized environment. The thing about virtualized environments is you got to make sure you're passing all this stuff through. So that could be an issue, or it's going to add complexity to your whole setup. So, all right, we made it to almost 2 hours today, which I have to thank my wife and my children for putting up with me while I tell them to be quiet for 2 hours. Banggood. I've seen Dr. Z's do a lot of stuff with Banggood. Yeah, so I wonder, I'll look for that and see if I can get it from, wait, what? Let me become educated. Home Assistant Windows. Really? Oh, VirtualBox. Yeah. So if we look at installing Home Assistant in terms of like supported stuff, maybe it's under alternative installation methods, but this is just Raspberry Pi. I know they have other devices. So here's devices: Raspberry Pi, Odroid, Intel NUC, virtual appliance under these different appliances. So how are they doing it on the Windows? It has to be virtualized, and I don't know that it's necessarily supported. When was this made? VirtualBox. This is July of this year, last year now. Wow. You got to set up all this stuff. So you can, it's just, again, it's under VirtualBox. So it's still a virtualized environment, but you can install it on that. They port to Windows. No, someone ported to Windows. That's really limited. You have to rely on the dev to add. Yeah, I don't even want to go down that right. Yeah, I wouldn't. I mean, really, I wouldn't recommend doing that. Someone's playing around with it, but then you're just, especially if the developer has to do things, you're beholden to that person or group that's developing that, and I wouldn't do that. But I mean, you do what you have to do to get things working. So. All right, everyone, I'm going to have to wrap it up today. I appreciate it. Sometimes I start these and think, man, what am I going to talk about for 2 hours? Or usually it's an hour. It's supposed to be an hour and a half. Ends up being 2 hours. I appreciate everyone's hanging out today and watching me blab about things. I hope it's useful. Again, hit me up on Discord and make sure that you send me any ideas you want for either for the basic streams that I'm doing right now, the beginner stuff, or just general video ideas. I'm going to play with that. I'm going to try to get one of these things and see if I can make it work. That's going to be pretty cool. Because that would get rid of that thing on the fridge that's, my wife accepts it, but I don't know how much she really likes it. And then just have something in the fridge that doesn't have a wire sticking through. That'd be cool. So have a great rest of your Sunday. For those of you heading back to work this week, good luck and enjoy. I'm doing the same. My kids will be going back to school tomorrow as well. My wife goes back to work tomorrow, so it's going to be fun times. So have a great day, great weekend, and a great week. And we'll see you maybe next week, but we'll have a video coming out on Back to the Basics on Thursday, so watch for that. And we will see you. Cheers.